Every 4 years, the World Cup takes over everything. People rearrange their schedules. Entire families gather around televisions. Strangers celebrate together. Some people cry when their team loses. Others celebrate for days when it wins. For a few weeks, it feels like the entire world is emotionally invested in the same thing. And then there's you, watching all of it happen, and feeling almost nothing. Not because you hate sports. Not because you're trying to be different. You simply don't understand why something that means so much to millions of people doesn't seem to affect you at all. So why does the World Cup create such powerful emotions in some people, while leaving others completely untouched? Psychology may have an explanation. And if you've ever wondered whether you're the only person who feels this way, you're probably not. So let me know in the comments. Does the World Cup excite you? Or does it do absolutely nothing for you? 1. It's probably not about sports. Most people assume the explanation is simple. You don't care about the World Cup because you don't care about soccer. But that idea falls apart surprisingly quickly. Because every 4 years, millions of people who never watch a single match suddenly become invested. People who couldn't name 5 professional players a month ago suddenly know scores, schedules, and standings. So if the World Cup can capture people who don't normally follow sports, then sports alone can't be the full explanation. In fact, what makes the World Cup different isn't what happens on the field. It's what happens around it. For a few weeks, entire countries focus on the same thing. The same conversations. The same victories. The same disappointments. And for many people, that shared experience becomes more important than the game itself. But if you've ever watched all of that from the outside, you've probably noticed something strange. You understand why other people are excited. You just don't feel the excitement yourself. And that difference may have less to do with soccer, and more to do with how you experience belonging. 2. Not everyone connects through collective emotion. Some people naturally absorb the emotional atmosphere around them. When everyone is excited, they become excited too. When a crowd celebrates, they feel the energy of that celebration. When an entire country is watching the same match, they feel connected to something larger than themselves. And there is nothing unusual about that. Humans are social creatures. Our brains evolved in groups. For most of human history, belonging wasn't just comforting. It was survival. But not everyone experiences that sense of connection in the same way. Some people feel it most strongly in large groups. Others don't. In fact, some people have the opposite reaction. The bigger the crowd becomes, the more disconnected they feel. The louder the collective emotion gets, the more they step back and observe it instead of joining it. You may have noticed this about yourself. Everyone around you seems emotionally invested. Everyone seems to understand exactly how they're supposed to feel. And yet part of you feels like an observer. Not superior. Not inferior. Just outside of it. Watching. Trying to understand what everyone else seems to experience so naturally. And that's where many people make a mistake. They assume that because they don't connect with the crowd, they must not care about belonging. But those are not the same thing. 3. Belonging isn't the same for everyone. For many people, belonging starts with participation. They join first. The feeling comes later. They wear the jersey. They watch the match. They celebrate with everyone else. And over time, the emotional connection grows. But for some people, the process works in reverse. They need to feel something before they participate. They need a reason, a connection, a sense that something genuinely matters to them. Without that feeling, the experience can seem strangely empty. Not because they don't understand it, but because they don't feel personally connected to it. Think about the things that have genuinely captured your attention throughout your life. A hobby, a subject, a skill, a book that stayed in your mind for weeks, a conversation you still remember years later. Chances are, nobody had to convince you to care about those things. You cared because something about them felt meaningful. The interest came naturally. And once it did, your attention followed. For people like this, meaning often comes before belonging. Not the other way around. Which is why they sometimes struggle to understand large collective experiences. Because from the outside, it can look as if everyone suddenly decided to care about the same thing at the same time. And for a mind that values personal connection over social momentum, that can feel surprisingly difficult to relate to. But this also reveals something important. The absence of excitement doesn't necessarily mean the absence of passion. In many cases, it simply means your passion follows different rules. For, you may already have what others find in the World Cup. Think about the people you know who genuinely love the World Cup. What are they really looking for? Excitement, connection, shared experiences, a feeling that they're part of something larger than themselves. And for many people, the World Cup delivers exactly that. But here's the interesting part. Those needs aren't unique to sports. They're human needs, which means they can be fulfilled in countless different ways. Maybe you felt that same excitement while working on a project you genuinely cared about. Maybe you felt it while learning something that completely captured your attention. Maybe you felt it during a conversation that lasted hours and somehow felt like minutes. Or in a small group of people who understood you in a way most people never did. The emotional experience may look different, but the psychological function is often surprisingly similar. Connection, meaning, engagement, a reason to care. And that's why some people can watch a World Cup final and feel almost nothing, while becoming completely absorbed in something that other people barely notice. A book, a craft, a community, a passion, a goal. Because the question was never whether you were capable of caring deeply. The question was always what deserves that attention from you. And for some people, the answer simply isn't football. Because the question was never whether you were capable of caring deeply. The question was always what deserves that attention from you. And for some people, the answer simply isn't football. Which leads to a possibility many people never consider. 5. Maybe you were never indifferent. Maybe you've experienced this before. Everyone around you was excited about something. A topic everyone seemed to be talking about. And while everyone else was drawn to it, you felt nothing. Not because you were trying to be different. You simply couldn't force yourself to care. But then something else caught your attention. A subject, a hobby, an idea. And suddenly, you could spend hours thinking about it, learning about it, talking about it, without anyone asking you to. That's the difference. Some people connect through what everyone shares. Others connect through what genuinely resonates with them. And if the World Cup doesn't do that for you, it doesn't mean something is missing. It may simply mean your mind looks for connection somewhere else. Maybe it already found it. And now I'm curious. What is the thing that captures your attention the way the World Cup captures everyone else's? Let me know in the comments.